Alrighty, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to do a translation. A translation is a rigid motion transformation that slides each point of a figure the same distance and direction. So again, the entire figure is moving the same direction and the same distance, which means if I took a triangle, let's take my hands, and I moved them all the same, it is still the same triangle. And if you notice, it's still even facing the same direction. If I took a triangle up here and then I moved it down, again, it's still facing the same direction and it is still the same size. So those are two key things you should look for in a translation, that it faces the same direction and that it is all moved the same distance, so they're the same size. Okay? All right, so we are going to try one. So here is our graph for this one. Again, we have a triangle, and it is called triangle ABC, if I were to name it. Okay? So we're going to do question number 1. Question number 1 says, translate triangle ABC horizontally -5 units. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, first thing I need to know is which way is horizontal. So I tell my kids that the horizontal line is if you were looking at the horizon, right? So horizontal is this way. Vertical is this way. Horizontal, vertical. So it wants me to take this and translate it horizontally -5 units. Okay, so when I hear the word -5, I think of taking away 5. And if I take 5 away from this, I should be moving in the left direction. So that is something key that you need to know with translation. A negative, if you're talking about horizontally, indicates you move left. And a positive, if again we are talking horizontally, would indicate that I move right. So I'm going to make a little note in this top corner. Negative equals left, positive equals right, because we will want to remember that for sure. Okay, so I want to take each point and move it -5, so left 5. Okay, left 5. So I'm going to start with point A, and I am just going to count. Point A is right here at 2, 5, and I'm going to go this way 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See this point? I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I ended right there. That is now point A prime. Okay, I've moved that point. Now I have to move every single point the same amount, so I'm going to do point B next. I'm going to move this one -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point B prime is right there. And last but not least, I'm going to do C. Let's move C over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, it's actually going to touch our original. So C prime is right there. And again, now I'm just going to connect my lines. Or my dots with lines. Sorry, connect my dots with lines. I'm going to do this one in orange so you guys can see it a little better. Cool. Cool. All right, so do you see how it's still the exact same shape? All I did was I just moved it. I slid it to the left, okay? So again, I have just taken triangle ABC and I translated it horizontally -5 units, or moved it to the left 5. Okay, I am going to label all of my points really quick. So A right here is at -3, 5. B up here is at -3, 9, and then C prime right here is at 2, 7. Cool. All right, so I've done that one. If I were to come up with a general rule for translations, it would actually be a little bit different. So we're going to talk about the rule at the end, I think, because then we can kind of discuss it as a whole. So we will do that at the very end. So now we are going to do our next one, and our next question says, translate triangle ABC horizontally, again, that's left or right, 1, a positive 1, so we're moving to the right one, and vertically -8 units. So I'm doing 2 steps. I'm moving this one to the right one, and then vertically -8. So I tell my kids again, it'd be like I take 8 away from here. So I will be going down. So if you see a negative vertically, it means we go down, and a positive would mean we went up, okay? So I'm going to take each point and I'm going to go horizontally 1 unit. So horizontally a positive 1 means to the right 1, and then a negative 8 units, negative 8 units vertically, so down 8 units. So we're going to do point A right here. I'm going to go to the right 1 and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, right here, sorry. Okay, so that looks like my A prime. All right, let's look at B. To the right 1 and then down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be about right there. B prime. And now we're going to do C. To the right 1 unit and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like C prime has been moved right there. Now this one I'm going to do in blue to help you guys see it a little bit better. So this one was a 2-step. I had to move it horizontally and vertically. It's kind of like a challenge problem. All right, again, now my lines aren't perfect, but again, it is the exact same shape. It's just moved over and down, to the right and down. So it is still the exact same shape. Okay, I'm going to label my coordinates. So let's start with A prime down here. It looks like I'm at over 3, down 3. B prime, it looks like I'm over 3, up 1. And C prime, it looks like I'm at 8, negative 1. Okay, so that is what a translation should look like. And let's look, again, they are all facing the same direction, right? Now, it didn't turn, it didn't do anything crazy. It's facing the same, and I just split it, either to the left, up, to the right. This one's kind of like diagonally because I moved it to the right and down. So facing the same direction, the exact same shape. Okay, so now let's talk about a general translation rule. Okay, so general translation rule. So you take, when I translate something, I'll put translate vertically. If I translate something vertically, I have my X and Y, and what do I do to them? So vertically is up and down, right? If I translate something vertically, I'm moving it up or I'm moving it down. So if you know that, only one of my values should change if I only do it vertically. If I am only going vertically, which one would change? Would my X value change or my Y value? Vertically is up and down, so our Y value would change. So see, in like this case, we went vertical negative 8. We went over 1 too, but do you see how 9 subtract 8 gave us 1? So vertically, our X value should stay the same if we only translate vertically, and our Y value will plus or minus, and I'm going to put T, the translation. If we go up, you would add however many units the translation tells you. If we go down, we would subtract however many units the translation tells you. All right, now let's do if we translate it horizontally. If I translate something horizontally, that's moving it left or right. Sorry, it's hard to talk and spell at the same time. Okay, so I have an X and Y, and what happens? Now in this one, we actually did an example. We translated this left, so we went a negative horizontal translation. Do you guys see that between my A and my A prime, my Y value stayed the exact same? The only one that changed was my X value, and I took my original number and I subtracted 5 from it, because in my example it told me to translate it negative 5. So in this one, our X value changes by either plus or minusing the translation, and our Y values should stay the exact same. And this T stands for whatever the translation tells me. So in this example, it's 5, okay? In this example, it's 1 or 8, right? Okay. And then if we do it both, so if we do both, translate vertically and horizontally. Both values will change, right? Because let's look at our last example here. Let's compare b prime and b. Do you see how both values changed? Because I moved it to the side and down. So in that one, we start with our x and y, and both values will change. And it depends again on what the translation tells us. So those are our general rules if you like to remember rules. If you don't, you just kind of count your points. Okay, so I'll wrap up again by saying that a translation is a rigid motion transformation that slides each point of a figure the same distance and direction.